Going live on Facebook. Broadcast. Okay, welcome everybody to this production from PSD University. My name is Michael Reed. I'm super excited to be here with the awesome Trent Carlisle, and we got Jeremy here backing us up. How's it going, guys?
Great. Thanks for having us, Mike.
Well, I'm super excited for this webinar because just being able to automate things, I start geeking out on it and I start learning new things. And as I'm teaching it, I'm learning, like, it's insane. My knowledge on this has just like tripled in the last 6 months because I'm teaching it to other people. So super excited to have you guys on and get into this. I'm going to go ahead and we're dealing with somewhat of a warm audience today. So you guys probably already know who we are. So we're just going to dive right into the content today. All right, I'm going to share my screen. All right, so one announcement that I want to make real quick. There we go. All right, go away. Yeah, one announcement I want to make real quick is the book was scheduled to be released today, August 1st, and I'm going to push that out to August 8th. If anybody is just sitting there biting at the bit, just wants to get this thing like right now, I have all the chapters completed. I can send it to you, but it's a rough draft. It's still with my editor. And so just let me know if that's something that you want to get and you're not willing to wait a week. That actually would kind of make me laugh. I'd be happy about that. So I'd be happy to work with you guys on that. But for right now, it's next Wednesday, August 8th is when the book will be released. Let's see here down. Okay, so in the free course, so the thing with the course is, what this is going to be, so you guys understand this, it's going to be a compilation of all of the different webinars that we're doing. On a weekly basis, we're going to have a webinar. I'm just going to let you know it's going to be every Thursday at 2 p.m., except for next week because it's my birthday. I'm taking that week off. And but every week, it's going to be Thursday at 2 p.m., and I'm going to break down in more detail how to do each of these steps, whether it's the marketing, whether it's the accounting, whether it's the data collection and form stack, or whether it's your data management and serve management using Serve Manager, and then lastly, customer retention. And so I'm going to go over each of those, one each week, to be able to help you guys learn how to do this and learn how to automate your firms the way that I have. And I'm continuously fine-tuning things because I want it to work better, and I want to be able to teach you guys better. So I am pushing this out a whole month because I'm going to use these webinar videos to actually teach you. This is going to be a part of this free course. I have some other videos that are available at psduniversity.com, but this is going to be some major content, and I want to be able to share it with you guys. So you could just register for these webinars as they go and learn the content piece by piece, or you can wait till August 30th and get all these webinars as a part of this free course that I'm going to just be giving away to everybody. So, Trent, did I cover everything there, you think?
Yeah. From our perspective, yeah.
Awesome. So this is a PSD University production. You guys can go check it out. Anybody who's new, who doesn't understand kind of what we're talking about, coming out of left field, I'll just let you know this is psduniversity.com. This is kind of the umbrella that's covering this, and we're using Serve Manager, and Trent and the Serve Now team, Logical team, has come in to help us out in a lot of ways, and I appreciate that. So this topic for today's webinar is going to be surrounding marketing and the way that you guys collect emails, and this is like the very beginning and then probably the most essential part of receiving new business. When somebody comes to your website, they land on your website, that's the very first opportunity that you have to be able to provide value and potentially engage that customer and start building a relationship with that potential customer. We're going to go a little bit into Serve Manager and some of the ways that it helps me in my firm and be able to help you guys in yours as well, because it's a great tool. So secret number one, I call them secrets because I feel like a lot of people do them, but nobody ever told me about them. And then I learned about it and I was like, man, why didn't you tell me about that? Have you ever had that, Trent, where you like learned something and you knew somebody else was doing it and then you learned it and you're like, what the heck's going on here?
Yeah. Yeah. And I'll just comment in general. I think this is just the email collection, the curation of lists, whether it's, your list in your process serving software, your database, your CRM, whatever. So few that we know of, folks in the process serving legal support industry actually do that email outreach. I think a lot of times it's, why hasn't so-and-so law firm used me in 6 months? And, I think one way you can address that is ongoing communication. You don't have to spam them constantly, but remind them that you're there. And the stuff that Michael's touching on today, as far as just gathering that email in the first place, they might not even be a customer. They may have just visited your website and needed some other service or whatever, but you have an opportunity to capture very valuable information from potential clients. So I won't spill the beans on what you're going to get into, but this is really good stuff, because from a competitive advantage perspective, not many folks are doing this. Your competitors most likely are not doing this.
That's right, Trent. A lot of people, you go to their websites and they have a phone number and they have their email address. And so that is assuming, it's kind of like telling your customer, hey, call me, or you send me an email. Like, you need to be the one to engage them in one way or another. And we're going to get a little bit into that. I've mentioned that in some of the other webinars. So some of this is stuff you might have already heard. But I really want to go into the more detail. My book really goes into detail about what an emotional bank account is. Stephen R. Covey's book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, the different things that you want to do to try to begin a relationship with a customer, because that's what it is. It's the relationship business. Now, of course, you're not going into the different types of relationships. This is just a way of understanding that people are people, even though they're a business. And when a paralegal gets sent to try to hire somebody, they're still a person. And so you have to engage them in a way that's going to make them want to come back to you. And so that's important. So the second secret too is understanding bounce rates. When I first started building websites, I saw it's telling me I had 4,000 website visitors like in 1 week. And I was like, well, this is really good. This is awesome. Like, I'm getting all these people. But I think it said like unique visitors was even like 2,000. So these are like new people who had visited my website. But yet I was probably getting maybe 50 calls or maybe 100 emails in the whole week. And so this is a way, this is the opportunity. And then Trent just touched on the opportunity, even like he just like expounded on it, and the fact that no one else is doing this. I mean, there are very few. I could probably name on one hand the companies that I know personally that are doing it. And these are the top companies. These are the top guys. So the secret number 2 is understanding bounce rates. Secret number 3 is creating a value hook. And I can talk about it in the book, but it is different for everybody because everyone has a different type of clientele and everybody provides a different type of service. But we're going to go into that just a little bit here. So let's see here. Okay, so
to the folks out there, if you want to ask questions along the way, you can use that QA feature. It should be at the bottom of your little Zoom screen there. And so Michael doesn't get distracted, I'll let him focus on the presentation, and I'll let him know when there's questions in there. And so feel free to use that.
That's right. It looks like it's open here too. It's got the allow attendees to ask questions. So perfect. So Trent, I appreciate that, looking at that. If anyone has any questions, just let me know. Or let Trent know in that thing there, and we'll go ahead and answer them. Definitely want to get feedback from people. If you have any ideas too, if you just have a statement you want to comment, definitely Trent will field those. So I tried to throw this together. It looks like once you do the view the screen, it put the E down there. But so people come to your homepage. They go to your homepage. Most people, I think it's a fair statement to say most people, about 75% of them are going to leave the page. If you just built a website, threw it up, and you have a neat picture there, most people are just going to leave. Why? I go through this in the book. Maybe you have a backlink to someone else's site, and it ended up putting them. They got a 404 page, so they just got an error page, so they just X out of it to go somewhere else. That's one reason you get bounce rates. Another reason is they land on your page and they don't see what they're looking for right away. They just see they scrolling and they don't see it in there. We're always thinking about, am I wasting my time here on this website? I'm trying to find what I'm looking for. I'm not finding it. I'm just going to leave the site. And so there are a bunch of different reasons. Page loading, I've heard, is a big one, that if your page takes too long to load. And I have different links in my book too that talk about that you can actually just plug your site in there. And I think Google has a really good one too. You can just plug your site in there. It'll tell you how long it's taking to load. If you have too many photos on your page, videos loading on your page, then it'll take too long. But so all of those things are a factor. But if somebody takes the time to wait and they actually make it to your homepage, you need to be prepared. And this is kind of this is my thing. So this is my value hook. And I'll just give you a little background, because I know not everybody, probably not even half the people on the call are from California. So I'll just explain, California just went through in the last year a big e-filing overhaul, and a lot of people are rushing to do this e-filing thing, all the process serving companies, to try to stay relevant in the industry. And there wasn't a California e-filing handbook at the time. Everyone had their own little guides and stuff. And so I created an e-filing handbook that attorneys could quickly go through and see the different things that are going to help them e-file. E-filing is super easy. So I've had people ask me, like, why do you need that? Well, if you've ever e-filed before, you know that you get a lot of things rejected if you don't know what you're doing. And that costs money, because every time it gets rejected, you have to pay that service fee again. So you understand why this is important to my particular customers here in California. I'm solving a certain pain point for them. Now you got to think, what is the pain point for my customer? For instance, a private investigator might want to have something here that's going, a hook that's the attorney's going to see and say, hey, get this free book on interviewing potential witnesses, or, stuff like that. So I go into detail in the book here, but just know that this is a pop-up. I'm going to show you guys an example of this really quick. And this is kind of putting my website to the fire here. We'll see how long it takes to load. That wasn't too bad. So I recently threw some extra stuff on here, but for the purposes of this video, I just want to show you. I just scrolled my cursor off of the page and immediately got this this pop-up that came down. And you want to be careful not to use just any pop-up software or app, because a lot of them are really janky, and people will just leave your page. That's actually considered one of the main things that makes people leave your page, is a pop-up. So any kind of pop-up that you're going to have needs to provide immediate value and communicate that message in a way, like right away. So there's no question that what they're getting is of great value. And in this case, it's very targeted, because my customers that are coming to my site, the majority of them through Google and Facebook that I'm driving to this site is paid through paid traffic, is specifically attorneys in California, if that makes sense. So they come to the website. If they try to leave the website right away, they get prompted when their cursor leaves the site. But if they come to the website and they actually look around, 2 points I want to make here, and then Trent, you can jump in if you want. But the first point is that you need to communicate the value, not just by saying free, free, free everywhere and having little keywords that they're going to notice, but also a video is nice. So in this video, I tell them, like, thank you so much for visiting my site. I'm the president processor daily. I took the time to prepare this e-filing book for you guys to be able to help you e-file as a free gift and a thank you for visiting my website. Basically, that's what I say. And then I keep my services really concise here, so that these are my main core services, really the 90% of my business. And so they're going to see what I provide right away. And that's the idea. You don't want to have them land on here and get distracted. And honestly, if this was just a process serving website, then I probably wouldn't have any of these links. But I'm doing a lot of different things with my website, and that's why those are there. Do you have any comments, Trent?
No, not at this point.
So the idea here is that so if they keep scrolling down, they're going to see this graphic. And this is one of the most powerful things that you can do. I got this graphic made right here for, I think, $20 on Fiverr. So you go to fiverr.com, 2 R's at the end, fiverr.com. And this is what I did, you guys. I came over here to Canva and I created there's some fires up here right now. I don't know if you hear that plane, but it's pretty crazy.
A little bit, yeah.
It's on fire. So what I did is I came over here and I made this graphic, and I downloaded this graphic and I just played around because you can just add stuff. I made this graphic and then I threw it together, you know, and I sent it. This is a different one. This is for my book, right? But I took this and I sent it to Fiverr, and as a concept of an idea. And Canva is actually a free program. If you guys haven't used Canva, you got to check out Canva.
It's amazing. Our entire marketing team uses it over here. You don't need to be, there's templates built, you know, you can just swap out text, swap out images. You don't need to be a graphic designer to use it. It's not like using super complicated tools like, you know, the Photoshop type tools or Illustrator.
Exactly.
Highly recommend it.
That's right, Trent. So like if somebody wanted to, even if you didn't want to use Fiverr, I like Fiverr because you know, it's super cheap and they're going to give me some like super professional quality. But if you wanted to just throw something together right here on Canva, you could do it today for free. So yeah, definitely a great resource. So then I did that, and then I went to Fiverr and then I sent it to them. They sent me back a book. In this case, I got a photograph of the California seal here, and I sent it to them and I said, I just want this to be kind of a background type thing. And then, you know, I gave them the proper text and stuff. And anyway, it was just, I did this like 30 minutes. And I give them this free gift. And then they click it, of course, and it'll just do the same thing. Now, the software I use for this is ClickFunnels. And there are other sites like Lead Pages and some other ones that you use. But when I set it up for my customers and for my own businesses, I use ClickFunnels because it's just so easy. I recently put my phone number back up here because a lot of my customers requested it. They said, we couldn't think of your phone, we couldn't find your phone number, and we went to, you know, I didn't have a contact. So I went ahead and for the purposes of doing multiple different business things and threw it on there. But for the sake of this instruction, just your value hook is gonna fix this for you. So if you have your value hook, no matter what it is, and you guys can kind of brainstorm, and I'd be willing to help you brainstorm on what kind of value hook you're going to get for your particular area, depending on your customers. But just to drive it home a little more, Trent, and if you have any ideas, feel free to jump in. But if you, like, let's say your primary customers, property managers or eviction attorneys, like having a diagram of the process, because it's a very canned process. It's always the same eviction. So, you know, you serve a notice, you serve it, and you can have this diagram or maybe a 10-page instruction where you're teaching them how to, you know, they already know the process, but then they can then take that and provide it to their customers. So that provides value to their customers, and they automatically, you're gaining leverage with your customer. And the relationship, the emotional bank account is built with your customer. The other thing is brand exposure. A lot of people will take this and then they'll share it with their friends. They'll say, hey, I got this thing. And then right here you have the branding, right? You know, process server daily. They know, oh, this guy created this book and he's a process server. So anyway, that's my future opportunities for connection. People are going to see it, but this isn't mine. This is a graphic that I pulled off here offline for different bounce rates. And I just really liked it because this is what happens when you create a hook. This was a part of the ClickFunnels in this same exact situation. They're describing what happens when you don't have a value hook and people land on your page versus when you create a value hook and people don't bounce your page. And just to explain a little further, your bounce rate is based on when someone lands on only one page and then leaves, no matter what page it is. They land on one page and then leave. So if they click on your value hook and they put their email address in, now you have their email address. It takes them to a thank you page, second page, and they're no longer a bounce rate. So Google sees that and it immediately helps your SEO. So if you were only doing it for SEO purposes, it would be good. But if you're doing it for SEO, and the email collection that you're going to get is powerful. Trent, do you want to comment on, I know you were talking a little bit about email collection, but you were telling me the other day about something, different promotions you can do and stuff.
Yeah, a couple things. Yeah, I'll just, before I talk about that, I don't think it, as far as bounce rate goes, it may not be, a bad thing that someone actually bounces. They may have landed on your homepage. They found everything that they need. They found your number. They found your email. They picked up the phone and called you. They shot you a message, whatever. I mean, you could dig deeper into that in analytics, but yeah, ultimately, a high bounce rate is not necessarily a good thing. Like, we have a lot of content on ServeNow and other sites, and there's some content that just isn't necessarily related to actually hiring a process server. So, like, we have the California rules of civil procedure. That could be anyone. You do want to dig in a little bit deeper into your bounce rate and not necessarily look at it from a kind of a just look at that number. You can dig a little bit deeper into that. But going back to, offering value, collecting that email, you don't need to write a book. You don't need to hire an editor. It's awesome that, Michael's doing that, because, again, no one in this industry is doing that, adding that type of value. But, it could be as simple as, top 5 things you need to think about before you hire a process server. And it can be just a one-sheeter, just kind of list with some, like a paragraph about, make sure you check the reviews online, things like that. So this does not have to be a daunting thing. And you can, you can make it look like you're handing them, a treasure chest full of gold, but and it may very well be to them, but this does not have to be a 6-month project to put together, some material that is going to offer your customers value and also build the trust in your business. Like, they may go to 10 process serving websites. You're going to be the only website that has this type of offer, this, excuse me, this free information, this book, this list, this white paper, whatever it's going to be. That's going to make you stand out. That's going to help you build trust with potential customers. That's
great, Trent. Building trust, that's probably the key. We talk about emotional bank account. We talk about trust. We talk about leverage. Ultimately, people come back to you because they trust you. They trust that when they send you their work, when they call you, you're going to pick up. They trust you. And so that's good. And I'm glad you mentioned the idea that somebody who comes to your website isn't necessarily like just someone that bounces off. Like, they might go there, see the phone number, and be that type of customer that just wants to call you. So that's a good point.
There's plenty of websites out there that are just one page. Our philosophy, for the most part, we build a lot of websites for process servers. You don't want to send them down a rabbit hole of content necessarily. So most of the sites that we build for our customers, it sort of behaves as multiple pages because you still have your menu that kind of jumps you down. But, you're going to have 100% bounce rate because they found everything that they needed on that particular site. So
it's all on one page.
Just keep that in mind, depending on what type of site you have. That, it, like I said, they're going to see that phone number. They're going to see, whatever pretty picture, nice logo, whatever they need to see as far as, this is going to make me pick up the phone and call you. So just keep that in mind too.
That's right. That's good. Yeah. The different types of websites. But one thing here, just to drive it home, is with the idea of the emails, is that when you get this bank of emails, the power to be able to do email marketing and literally email. I mean, if you've been doing this for a while, like some of these guys say they've been doing it for 27 years, 30 years. If you've been doing this the whole 30 years, you might have an email bank of 100,000 emails. The power to be able to say, hey guys, I'm running a promotion. I'll do skip trace, no fee, no fine, no fee for the month of whatever. And that's a nationwide service that you could provide. So 100,000 emails, all of a sudden, whoever they were using, they're going to try you for one time. And at 100,000 people, let's just say 1,000 of them decide to use you and you charge $75 each. This is the kind of the power that email marketing can have, especially if you're running into a slow time when your business and it becomes necessary to use it. So the next thing here I wanted to go in, and that's the main thing with the email marketing. I do want to go and probably the last one, because it's about customer retention. We're just talking now about, you got the email, you collected the email from them, and then they're going to go through the rest of the process in your business. I want to show that real quick before we move on to Serve Manager. So someone comes in, they put their email, they click submit. This is the power of ClickFunnels. When it goes to the next page, I have another video here, and that's when it published. And I have another video here that they can watch. And it's basically, because they're already interested in e-filing, it's going to offer them to apply for the Royal Concierge e-filing in this video, where I'm saying, hey guys, I see that you're interested in e-filing. So it's kind of like an upsell. It's like, hey, I'm not really selling them anything. I'm just inviting them to further engage with my company. And since I've already created value, trust with them, and now they go down and they see this. Now I made it for navigational purposes. I made it really easy. If they're like, you know what, I already got or I'm doing it on my own through e-filing, I don't need to have you guys do it for me. They can just hit back and go right back to the website. And so the whole idea here is to be able to engage them further and further. And so in the email marketing webinar that we're going to be doing, I'm going to go in depth how to use Infusionsoft is my favorite tool, and teach you guys kind of step by step how to set up an email campaign that is not spammy. You have the newsletter guy, you have the promoter, and you have the spammer. And the spammer is usually the digital marketer who emails you literally 5 times a day. And then the promoter, I've been guilty of being the promoter before, but the serve report is a good example of a newsletter. It has links that take you to different places on the website. And I actually included that in my book, which I still need to run across you. Trent, make sure that's okay. Okay, yeah, because I just looked at it today and was like, this is a perfect example of a newsletter that, it provides the bullet points and things that might be interesting. And then, if there's one point they like, they click on it, takes them to exactly that in more detail on your website. So that's the idea, is to provide more value with these emails. If you create an email and you want to send it to a customer, you need to stop before you hit send and think, am I providing value to this customer? Whereas after they read it, they're going to go, I got to do this. I have to pull a sticky note and make a note to do this, or do it now. And then the next time, this is the key, the next time they get an email from you, are they excited to open it? If they're not, you got to reevaluate how you're doing things. And I think I've been guilty of it, just sending an email thing. It's something I'm doing. People might be interested, Yep.
I think value is the key there, whether it's information or whether it's some sort of special, free skip, or, get your first serve in August free with us, or whatever it is. Sending out emails that are, hey, we're here, send us business, or here's our price list type stuff. This is where you have an advantage over the folks in the industry that are doing that. Quite often, there's not a lot of value that's being provided. It's more kind of, just marketing, like we're in business, send us your serves. So make sure there's something there that that's going to help them in some way.
Right, exactly. And that's one of the frustrating things. And even some of the people that I follow, I really love to hear what they have to say, but really they're going for the masses, and it works for them because they have millions of followers. We really are tailoring our businesses, or at least I hope you are, if you're in this legal industry, in a more professional manner, because, these are literally professional services, lawyers and, attorneys. They don't want to be spammed. It's a good way to lose a customer, actually.
Yeah.
So, okay, so moving on to the next section here, I just want to talk a little bit about Serve Manager. Serve Manager, let me just say, I was using another software, and I don't mind mentioning them. I still love those guys over there at TriStar. And one of the big pain points for me, and I know this isn't necessarily automation. What is it, next week? Actually, yeah, not next week because it's the 9th, which is my birthday. I'm gonna be old. The 16th, I'm going to be going over accounting, and I want to show people how to use credit card authorization form and use Stripe. And we're going to go into that in detail. But what I want to talk about, one of my favorite things about Serve Manager real quick, is the invoicing process. And I'm just going to drag that. Well, should I do that? Let me see. Yeah, that's fine. So what I can do is I can come over here and I can search very quickly, go to statements, create statements, see statements that I've already sent based on a certain date. Like here in a couple days, we could do it today, but actually I'm going to do it. I do them on Finance Friday is what I call it. And so I go through and I send out statements to everybody. And then on the 15th, I go through and I charge the card for anybody I haven't received a check for. And these are the monthly bill pay type clients. But let me just clarify. Probably 75-80% of people come to my website and they actually purchase online before before receiving the service. So they would purchase here via Stripe is set up in here, and they would purchase ahead of time. But for the attorneys and the collection agencies and those type, they come right on here and they just they send me an email and say, hey, I want to just pay you by check. So I send them to a credit card authorization form where I can then secure payment and say, yep, go ahead and send me a check. If a check doesn't come, then on the 15th, I'm going to go back in here and I've already done it for this one, and I'm going to pay. Click apply payment, and I'm going to pay it. So that's the idea. And then you can go to account aging, which is really nice. We've been able to keep it down pretty well. Before we just started using Serve Manager. And so most people prepay, but these are the ones that we need to process here in the next couple days for this last month. And so this is my favorite part, because with TriStar, I really got stuck in the weeds, Trent. And it's nothing against them. I know that there are some people that have really good luck with it, but Serve Manager has made it really easy, user-friendly to be able to search particular jobs and to be able to add new jobs quickly, to be able to send serves out to people while I'm in the field. I can use my iPad and be able to see everything. And so I just want to give a quick moment. Jeremy, one of your guys, we got Jeremy on the line here too. I just want to give you an opportunity. You're the specialist here. I want to ask you about server pay, because I haven't really had a big opportunity to utilize it, and I want to start utilizing it in my firm and be able to teach it as well.
Sure. Yeah. Let me share my screen real quick.
I'll hit stop share on mine. Sweet.
Okay, we're looking at Serve Manager here.
Yep.
Okay, so yeah, Server Pay is a feature that we added somewhat recently, and it's a way for you to track payments to your servers. So you'll be able to set up either a default amount for your account. I always pay my servers X amount, so when you create a new job, that would show up. But you can also set amounts per server. So maybe one person gets paid a certain amount and another person gets paid a different amount. So you can set that up per employee or contractor.
Okay.
So when you create jobs, you can even override it. So maybe this job's a rush job and you're going to give them an extra 25 or something. You can do that on the job as well. And then, of course, it's tallying all this. And once you create the job, now you've got a payable for that server, and then later you can mark it as paid and that sort of thing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Jeremy, are there any other topics you wanted to cover in regards to Serve Manager?
Sure. So I guess, I just wanted to sort of talk in general about software. Most software that you're using has some settings or preferences, templates, things like that, and all that kind of stuff really will speed up your workflow. So just, in terms of Serve Manager, for example, if I click on My Account, I can go over to Settings. Our customers are already saving a ton of time just by using Serve Manager, and its current workflow. But if they come in here and start, saving their fields that will autocomplete and enabling Stripe and things like that, then they're saving even more time when they're entering jobs and when they're collecting payments and things like that. So for example, here